ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaste, my dear friends. This is first video about self-realization. In this series of 3 videos on self-realization described and explained by Annamalai Swami. First, I will start with the question, what is self-realization according to Annamalai Swami? Annamalai Swami, a direct disciple of the renowned Indian sage Ramana Maharshi, often emphasized the practice of self-inquiry as a means to attain self-realization. According to his teachings, self-realization involves the direct experiential understanding of one's true nature, which is beyond the limitations of the individual ego and body. In the context of Annamalai Swami's teachings and the broader Advaita Vedanta philosophy, self-realization refers to the realization of the self or Atman as being identical to the ultimate reality Brahma. It involves recognizing that the individual self or ego is an illusion and that one's true essence is the eternal, formless, and limitless consciousness. Self-realization, as taught by Annamalai Swami, is not an intellectual understanding but a direct experiential realization of one's essential nature through introspection and self-inquiry. This process often involves asking oneself the question, who am I? And diving deeply into one's own awareness to understand the source of one's thoughts, emotions, and identity. Through persistent self-inquiry and contemplation, practitioners aim to transcend the egoic mind and directly experience the unity of the individual self with the universal consciousness. It is important to note that interpretations of spiritual teachings can vary among different teachers and practitioners. Therefore, individuals interested in the teachings of Annamalai Swami or any other spiritual teacher are encouraged to study their works directly or seek guidance from experienced practitioners to gain a deeper understanding of the specific teachings. Annamalai Swami, a direct disciple of the great sage Ramana Maharshi, emphasized the practice of self inquiry as a direct means to self realization. According to his teachings, self realization involves the direct and experiential understanding of one's true nature, which is beyond the limitations of the individual ego. In Annamalai Swami's teachings, self realization means recognizing the true self, Atman, as distinct from the egoic self. The egoic self is the identity we commonly associate with our thoughts, emotions, and body. Self realization, as taught by Annamalai Swami, involves realizing that this egoic self is an illusion and that the true self is the eternal, unchanging, and infinite consciousness. Self realization in this context is not an intellectual understanding but a direct, immediate realization of one's essential nature through self inquiry. The practice of self inquiry involves turning the attention inward and asking the question, who am I? This inquiry leads the practitioner to examine their thoughts, emotions, and sense of identity, ultimately leading to the direct experience of the formless, boundless awareness that is the true self. According to Annamalai Swami, self realization is not something to be acquired, it is the realization of what one already is. It is the removal of ignorance and the recognition of the eternal truth that underlies all existence. Through self inquiry and contemplation, individuals can directly experience their true nature and abide in the state of self realization, free from the limitations of the egoic mind. Importance of self realization according to Annamalai Swami. Vedanta self realization holds immense importance in an individual's life. Here are several key aspects of the importance of self realization according to Annamalai Swami's teachings. 1. Freedom from suffering. Self realization is seen as the ultimate liberation from the cycle of birth and death, samsara, and the associated suffering. By realizing one's true nature, which is beyond the ego and body, a person can attain lasting peace and freedom from the ups and downs of life. 2. Recognition of unity. Self realization involves the direct experience of the oneness of all existence. When an individual realizes their true nature, they recognize that this same essence exists in all living beings. This understanding fosters compassion, love, and a sense of interconnectedness with the entire universe. 3. And of ignorance. Self realization signifies the end of spiritual ignorance, avidya, the mistaken identification with the body and mind. When ignorance is dispelled, one understands the impermanence of the physical world and gains insight into the unchanging reality that underlies it. 4. True happiness. Self realization leads to an unshakable inner happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a state of contentment and joy that arises from within, independent of the fluctuating conditions of life. 5. Overcoming egoic desires. The ego, with its desires and attachments, creates a sense of limitation and discontentment. Self realization involves transcending the ego and its desires, leading to a state of inner fulfillment and peace. 6. Living in the present moment. Self realized individuals are fully present in the moment, unburdened by regrets of the past or anxieties about the future. This presence allows them to respond to life's challenges with clarity and equanimity. 7. Awakening to true knowledge. Self realization is not merely an intellectual understanding but a direct experiential knowledge of one's true nature. This knowledge is considered the highest form of wisdom, leading to profound insights about the nature of reality. 8. Role in spiritual evolution. In the spiritual evolution of an individual, self realization is often considered the culmination point. It represents the fulfillment of the purpose of human life to realize one's divine nature and merge with the ultimate reality. According to Annamalai Swami, self realization is not a distant goal to be achieved in the future, it is the present reality obscured by ignorance. through self-inquiry and the dissolution of the ego, one can directly experience this truth and live a life free from suffering, filled with love, understanding, and profound inner peace. Annamalai Swami's teachings on self-realization emphasize the direct experience and understanding of one's true nature according to his perspective. 1. Direct experience. Self-realization according to Annamalai Swami is not a theoretical or intellectual understanding. It is a direct experiential realization of the self through profound introspection and self-inquiry. It involves going beyond conceptual knowledge to directly perceive the essence of one's being. 2. Recognition of awareness. Self-realization involves recognizing pure awareness or consciousness as one's essential nature. It is the awareness that witnesses thoughts, emotions, and sensory experiences. By realizing this awareness, one transcends the limitations of the mind and ego. 3. Silencing the mind. Self-realization is the quieting of the mind. Through self-inquiry and meditation, practitioners learn to still the mental chatter and enter into a state of silence. In this silence, the true nature of the self is revealed. 4. Abiding in presence. Self-realization entails abiding in the present moment. When the mind is no longer entangled in the past or future, one experiences a profound sense of presence. This presence is the doorway to the eternal and unchanging reality. 5. Dissolution of ego. Self-realization involves the dissolution of the ego, the false sense of individuality. As the ego dissolves, the boundaries between self and other subject and object blur, leading to a sense of unity with the entire existence. 6. Unconditional love and compassion. Self-realization leads to unconditional love and compassion for all beings. When one realizes the interconnectedness of all life, love naturally arises and there is a deep sense of compassion and understanding for the struggles and suffering of others. 7. Transcendence of dualities. Self-realization involves transcending dualities such as pleasure and pain, success and failure, joy and sorrow. The self-realized person remains equanimous in the face of life's dualities, understanding that these are temporary and do not affect the true nature of the self. 8. Effortless being. Self realization is the state of effortless being. It is not about striving or achieving, but about recognizing and abiding in one's natural state. Effort drops away, and there is a sense of ease and naturalness in simply being. 9. Integration of daily life. Self realization, according to Annamalai Swami, is not separate from everyday life. It integrates seamlessly into one's actions, thoughts, and interactions. A self realized person continues to live in the world but remains untouched by its transient nature. In summary, self realization, according to Annamalai Swami, is the direct and experiential recognition of one's true nature as pure awareness, leading to inner silence, unconditional love, and a profound sense of oneness with all existence. It is a state of being that is characterized by peace, love, wisdom, and the dissolution of the egoic self. According to Annamalai Swami, self-realization is the direct experience and realization of one's true nature, which transcends the limitations of the individual ego. Here are some additional aspects of self realization according to his teachings. 1. Beyond mind and intellect. Self realization is a state that transcends the mind and intellect. It is not an intellectual understanding but a direct knowing that goes beyond the limitation of conceptual thinking. 2. Simple and natural. Self realization, according to Annamalai Swami, is not a complex or difficult process. It is a simple and natural state that is always present. It is the recognition of what is already there, unclouded by the mind's complexities. 3. Ineffable and beyond words. The experience of self realization is ineffable, meaning it cannot be adequately described or captured by words. It is a direct, non conceptual realization that goes beyond the realm of language and intellectual understanding. 4. Total acceptance. Self-realization involves total acceptance of oneself as one is. It is the acceptance of both the light and direct aspects of one's personality, leading to a sense of wholeness and integration. 5. Fearlessness. A self-realized person is fearless because they have transcended the ego, which is the source of fear. They live without the fear of death, judgment, or any other external factors. 6. Transcendence of individuality. Self-realization involves transcending the narrow boundaries of individuality. It is the recognition that the self is not limited to the body and mind but is universal and all encompassing. 7. Unshakable inner peace. Self-realization brings about a profound and unshakable inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. A self-realized person remains undisturbed and serene. 8. Non-identification with thoughts and emotions. Self-realization involves a deep understanding that one is not the thoughts, emotions, or sensation that arise in the mind and body. There is a disidentification from the mental and emotional processes. 9. Spontaneous joy. A self-realized person experiences spontaneous joy that arises from within, independent of external stimuli. This joy is not dependent on achievements, possessions, or relationships. 10. Integration of body, mind, and spirit. Self-realization leads to the harmonious integration of the body, mind, and spirit. There is a sense of balance and unity in one's being. 11. Freedom from desires. Self-realization involves freedom from worldly desires and attachments. Desires lose their grip and there is contentment in the present moment. 12. Role in spiritual evolution. Self-realization is the pinnacle of spiritual evolution. It represents the ultimate goal of human life and the fulfillment of the spiritual journey. According to Annamalai Swami, self-realization is not a distant goal to be achieved through effort. It is the ever-present reality that can be realized through self-inquiry, self-abidance, and the grace of the Guru. It is the direct recognition of the eternal and unchanging truth of one's existence. What are the qualities required by a devotee to achieve self realization? A sadhak or a devotee has to bring himself to the level where he can be fit to achieve self realization. There are laid down principles and procedures to be adopted by the sadhaka to achieve this wonderful goal of his life. According to the teachings of Annamalai Swami, self-realization is not limited to a select few. It is the birthright of every human being. He emphasized that all individuals, regardless of their background, past actions, or circumstances, have the potential to achieve self-realization. The capacity for self-inquiry and ability to recognize one's true nature are inherent in every person, but he has to harness his capabilities to achieve this aim. He has to put efforts to reach the level of a deserving sadhaka to achieve self-realization. In Annamalai Swami's view, self-realization is not dependent on external factors such as social status, wealth, education, or religious background. It is available to anyone who sincerely seeks the truth and is willing to inquire deeply into the nature of their own existence. One's readiness and earnestness in the pursuit of self-realization are the key factors that determine the progress on the spiritual path. Annamalai Swami often stressed the importance of a strong desire for liberation, mumukshutva, and the guidance of a qualified teacher, guru, to help aspirants on the path of self-realization. He believed that the Guru's grace and guidance are essential to help seekers overcome the obstacles of the egoic mind and to direct them towards the direct experience of their true nature. In summary, according to Annamalai Swami, self-realization is attainable by anyone who possesses a sincere desire for truth, a willingness to inquire deeply within, and the guidance of a qualified spiritual teacher. These qualities are not limited to a specific group of people, they are available to all individuals who earnestly seek the realization of their true selves. According to Annamalai Swami and the broader teachings of Advaita Vedanta, self realization is a universal possibility accessible to anyone who possesses the following qualities and attitudes. 1. Sincere aspiration. Those who earnestly desire liberation and are genuinely interested in understanding the nature of reality are prime candidates for self realization. A sincere longing for truth is considered essential. 2. Humility. Humility allows individuals to be open to learning and self inquiry. It involves acknowledging one's limitations and being receptive to the teachings of a guru or spiritual guide. 3. Inner quietness. A relatively calm mind is conducive to self inquiry. Inner quietness enables individuals to turn their attention inward and contemplate the nature of their own awareness. 4. Patience and perseverance. The path to self realization may be long and challenging. Patience and perseverance are necessary virtues to continue the practice of self inquiry despite obstacles and distractions. 5. Discrimination. The ability to discern between the transient and the eternal, the real and the unreal, is crucial. Discrimination helps individuals prioritize their spiritual pursuits over material or worldly distractions. Material desires and worldly distractions keep the mind engaged in those pursuits, and the devotee becomes away from the path of self realization. 6. Faith and surrender. Having faith in the teachings, the guru, and the process of self inquiry is important. Surrendering the egoic resistance and trusting the guidance of a realized teacher can facilitate self realization. 7. Fear, fearlessness. Fearlessness involves confronting and overcoming the fears and insecurities that arise during the process of self-inquiry. It is the courage to face the unknown and question deeply held beliefs. The belief in his own self is the most necessary quality to carry on the path of self realization. 8. Open mindedness. Being open to different perspectives and teachings, even if they challenge one's existing beliefs, is vital. An open mind allows for the exploration of various individual concepts and practices. 9. Self-honesty. Self-realization requires honesty with oneself. It involves acknowledging one's thoughts, emotions, and limitations without judgment or self-deception. Love and compassion. 10. Love and compassion. Cultivating love and compassion for oneself and others is fundamental. These qualities dissolve the barriers of the ego and foster a sense of unity with all beings. Love must be devoid of any selfish motives. It should be without any selfishness. That love is known as Niskam Karma in Advaita. 11. Living ethically. Following ethical principles and living a virtuous life is essential. Ethical conduct purifies the mind and creates a conducive environment for spiritual growth. Desire for self-realization. The devotee must have a earning desire to achieve self-realization. The genuine desire for self-realization itself is a sign of readiness. Those who recognize the impermanence of worldly pursuits and seek a deeper, lasting fulfillment are on the path towards self-realization. According to Annamalai Swami, these qualities, along with the guidance of a realized Guru, enable individuals to open to anyone. Guidance of a realized Guru enable individuals to undertake the journey of self-inquiry and attain self-realization. The path is open to Anyone who possesses the sincere aspiration and willingness to embark on the inward or journey of self discovery. At this point, I complete this video. Second video on self realization will continue with the topic. According to Annamalai Swami, self realization is available to anyone who possesses the following qualities and attitude. Thank you for watching this video. Namaskar, my dear friends. Namaste.